Anxiety in all capital letters. There was a point at 12 weeks where I struggled walking. I don't think there's a day that's gone by in this whole pregnancy where I've not eaten an apple. Hello. Today is going to be my first trimester symptoms. Am I beyond halfway? Yep. I will keep looking away because I've got this journal. This journal is what's going to tell me what my symptoms were, because quite frankly, I don't remember. There's bits and pieces obviously that you remember from your first trimester, but a lot of it is obviously a bit of a blur. I have not done any symptom things since 8 weeks. Wow, it's been a good few months. Okay. This is literally just gonna be week by week symptoms, experiences, how I got on every week. When I found out I was pregnant, the only symptom I had was I felt like I couldn't really eat anything. Like, it wasn't even just that I had no appetite, like I was fine, I was like, yeah. But if I tried to eat anything, I felt like I just couldn't eat, like I couldn't swallow food. I just couldn't stomach anything. It was really bizarre. Sleep earlier and wake up earlier. Honestly, I don't remember this, but apparently I was going to sleep earlier and waking up earlier. I remember like waking up earlier because I remember I was up at like 7, 8 every day. Normally like my typical wake up time without a routine is like 9, 10, sometimes 11 recently, but I think I was waking up at like 7. It was so strange. Anxiety. Do I remember that? But then I've got to bear in mind that I did have anxiety in my first trimester, but also a lot of the anxiety is spiraled because of pregnancy anxiety of like, if the baby's okay. That makes your anxiety spiral 20 times more, obviously. I had a dodgy stomach, if you get my gist. Obviously, everyone complains about constipation. I have the complete opposite. I didn't think I was pregnant because before I get on my period, I get a dodgy stomach. So it was really strange because I was like, I remember, I just have a feeling when my period's coming. Like I just know, okay? Like I know that it's coming in the next couple days. Like I'll just get a few days before and I was like, I was getting that feeling, but it wasn't coming. So it got to a point where I was like, I've had this feeling for quite a few days and my period's coming and there's no sign of my period. They're like physically, there's no sign that I'm bleeding. So I was like, surely something's going on. And something was going on. 5 weeks, can eat but not hungry. So I was just eating for the sake of eating. Thirsty, occasional backache. Nothing compared to what I'm going through now, I'll tell you that now. Anxiety in all capital letters. Losing interest in things. I don't really know what this one's meant to mean. Like losing interest in what? I'm guessing I just meant in general, like I just didn't have motivation. Tired from 8 to 9 onwards. See now, if you know me, that's very, 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 very weird. For me to be tired from like 8, 9 p.m. is strange. I mean, I occasionally nap, like I'm not a napper, it's very rare. And when I go to bed, I always go to bed at like 1, 2. So the fact that I was able to sleep at like 9:30, 10, 10:30, so strange and out of my normality. I'm going to the toilet more often, even though there was obviously not going to be any pressure on my bladder yet. I actually do think it's a hormonal thing in the first trimester where I can't remember what it is, but like you have a hormone that makes you produce more urine. It's really strange, but it's not just a physical thing, it's actually a hormonal thing as well. I had a small bleed. Now that's important. I had a small bleed. This was the one where I had 2 bleeds. I'm trying to remember. This was the one I had after I went to the gym. This is what's made me stop going to the gym, because I had a bleed and it was not spotting, it was blood. Obviously spotting's still blood, but it was like a more substantial amount, to the point where I was like, when I was out at Blue Water, which is a shopping centre, went toilet. It was kind of like, it was in my underwear, but as I wiped, it was barely anything. And then after that, I was just completely clear. But I had gone to the gym, which I think is what done it. But at some point, I do want to get like a yoga mat, you know, like them little gym mats, and just do some like at-home workouts. Obviously ones that aren't so high impact, but I really want to get back into that because the loss of bicep really does make me sad. 6 weeks, sore boobs. This continued till like this continued throughout the whole of my first trimester. And it did, like, it was quite, they were tender, but like, it didn't really affect me unless they bumped into something or I touched them. Like on their own, they were probably like, they were quite fine. Nausea starting to hit. I remember 6 weeks was really weird. I just like, had moments here and there where I felt sick. I remember I had one day where I went out at 6 weeks. I went out to town and I genuinely, in my heart, I was like, what if I be sick? And I have emetophobia, so that just doesn't mix with pregnancy. Fear of sick and it just doesn't mix. I was out at town and I felt so ill, like so ill. And it wasn't like feeling like I'm gonna be sick. It was more like the actual just like nausea feeling, which is just horrid. I get sick of things after 48 hours of eating them. That still goes on today. I, for the life of me, can't stick to anything with food. My appetite has been bollocks the whole first trimester and beyond. I will fancy something, really like it, go to get it again, and I'm just not into it whatsoever. Drinks, food, I fixate on stuff because when I find something I like, it's like, well, I like this, so I've got to keep buying it until I get sick of it because what else can I eat? So I've really been like fixated on different foods each week, which I can go into because my journal does tell me what cravings I've had every week. Smell is definitely heightened. I don't remember what smells were heightened. I guess I just meant in general. When they do, like, I do believe when they say like your fridge is your worst enemy but I've never liked the smell of the fridge. The fridge is always a funny thing to me. I'm just like, I've never liked the smell of the fridge. That's just not a nice smell. But when you're pregnant, it's really not nice. Twinges, mostly right side. I've had this throughout my whole pregnancy so far. We're 6 months in. Right side, if I ever get any like uncomfortableness, if I ever got any pain in the first trimester, right side, right side, right side, right side. And when I started feeling him move, he's always on the right side. So I don't know if it's because he must have implanted on the right side and then eventually just kind of found that he liked the right side and stuck with it, because even to now, a lot of the time, pretty much 99 or like say 95% of the time, where is he? On my right side. Small bleed again. Okay, so I had another bleed. It was literally the Saturday and Saturday. 2 Saturdays in a row I had a bleed. Exactly the same thing. I carried 1 or 2 shopping bags in. Like, granted they were like heavy-ish, but like as heavy as a shopping bag gets. Like, it's not, just, it was a sign that I was not meant to do that, I guess. Because it was the exact same type of bleed. Bled, wiped, went, never came back. And it hasn't come back since. That's the last bleed I've had like this whole pregnancy. I've never had any situation like that again. And then, because that was at 6+4, at 6+5, I had a private scan and everything was good. 7 weeks. So now I can go off my phone and my journal. 7 weeks, smells starting to affect me. Okay, apparently smells are starting to affect me. Nearly threw up. So close, and avoided by eating an apple. Oh, this thing started at 7 weeks, right? And it drove me mad for the next few weeks. I didn't feel nauseous, like I said about how I felt nauseous in 6 weeks. I never got that again. I've not really felt sick since week 6, but I've had this thing where I feel like I'm gonna be sick. And it was morning sickness, but if I have an empty stomach, even now it can make me feel like I'm gonna be sick, but I think my last one of those was like, my last one where I was like, I have to eat. I think 16 weeks I had one where I was like, gotta eat. Because where I have a fear of sick, it really puts me into like fight or flight. I woke up one morning and I was like, I'm gonna be sick. And I'm not joking, my mouth was salivating. It was ready to throw up. I ran and ate an apple because when you're pregnant and you feel like you're gonna be sick, the one thing you need to do is eat. And you might not feel like eating, you might feel like that's the last thing you wanna do. And it's really backwards, because obviously if you wasn't pregnant, you wouldn't fucking eat. But you need to eat. So if you're watching this, if you're pregnant, you feel sick, eat. I don't care what it is, eat every 2 hours. That's the general rule. Make sure there's something in your stomach every 2 hours. It doesn't have to be a whole meal. It could literally be something really simple, but I always found fruit, apple, it was apple. There were some days where I did feel just so ill. It's not an explainable thing, like I just felt ill. Sometimes I couldn't explain it in a way of like, I couldn't really say, yeah, I feel sick, or yeah, I feel like I've got a fever, or yeah, I feel weak. It was just ill. You just feel off. You know your body's different, you feel off. Loved an orange. I don't know what happened in week 7, but I loved oranges, and specifically big oranges. I went through loads and then I got sick of them, so. And I got my bloods done for my sneak peek, which then ended up a whole hassle because they ended up sending it to the wrong people and I didn't get it for I think 2 weeks it took them to get to me, but that's when I got my bloods done for it. So my cravings were baby potatoes, apples. Now when I say cravings, take that lightly. I've not really had cravings where I'm like, need it now, apart from a couple times in the last few weeks. So my second trimester I've ordered creams. But in my first trimester, there wasn't anything like craving wise. It was just like, this is the only thing I fancy right now. I don't think I could stomach anything else. Orange and pineapple squash. Yeah, I drank that a lot. Had my first nap. I didn't nap until this point, even though like a lot of people say that like the exhaustion really hits them. I wasn't super tired, it was more just like I was just tired earlier in the night and I'd just go to bed earlier and wake up earlier. It wasn't necessarily in the day that I was tired, at least in my first trimester. Tiredness wasn't really a symptom. Week 8, nearly threw up again at 3 AM, cured by an apple again. I don't think there's a day that's gone by in this whole pregnancy where I've not eaten an apple. Maybe 1 or 2 days out of the whole thing. I've eaten an apple every single day. Pineapple, love. I loved a bit of pineapple. Loved a bit of pineapple. I was buying actual pineapples and cutting them up and just eating like a whole one in a day. Bloating like no tomorrow, especially the end of a day. By the end of the day, I would be really bloated. Not pregnancy, like I wouldn't look pregnant, I just look really bloated. It wasn't a bump, it was just pure bloat. Spotty. This has been the death of me, this pregnancy. I've been very on and off with my facial like acne. First trimester, it was bad. Bad. It was not fun. I've now got, it's on my shoulders and my back. So I think that's where like, I think a back knee is a very common problem in pregnancy, but yeah, my shoulders and my back with my acne has not been fun. And my booking appointment, that's fun. Now I've not written anything in my phone since 8 weeks. So yeah, I had my booking appointment, which is basically, if you don't know, it's just like your initial midwife appointment. There's no scan, there's no heartbeat thing, there's none of that. It's literally just going through details, where you're from, if this is your first pregnancy, details about the dad, details about family history. They like to know a lot of family history to know that if there's anything that they should look out for with the baby. And that's that. Big oranges again, pineapple. I literally just put, I want to marry oranges. Eating to survive throughout the day, patiently waiting to find out the gender because I was getting impatient. I've not weighed myself since 8 weeks and I'm not gonna. I don't even have scales. My instincts were saying boy. And then, oh, week 9. Finally found out you're a boy. That's the only thing I put for my journal bit in this week. From what I remember, week 9, I was still feeling ill. I still had a few days where I felt grim. Week 9 was probably the peak of it, if anything. Week 9, week 10 is kind of like the peak. Sweet pepper pasta was my craving. I love sweet pepper pasta. It's the Domio ones, you know, the little pots you get, the pasta sauce. So good. So yeah, obviously found out the gender. That was fun. Instincts are right. Loved a Subway in week 10. That's fun. We loved a Subway. Boobs still sore. Yeah, that continued throughout, didn't it? Still struggling in the morning, feeling like I'm gonna be sick. I have to this is in capitals, constantly eat, because I did. There was no, I had to constantly eat. I was in a bad mood that week apparently. Ooh. Mentally low, exhausted and drained. Started napping a couple times this week. Go me. Battery change. Okay, where was I? Week 10. What was I saying? Yeah, I was just very mentally low. And this continued throughout. It's been very up and down since. But yeah, I did have quite a few days where I was just like, not great. I'm a person that's prone to being very up and down anyway, so I kind of expected it, but at the same time, it's never nice to feel that way. Week 11, oh my God, this bloody obsession. Orange fizzy Lucozade, just the normal Lucozade bottles, orange ones though. Oh my God, before this as well, I was drinking a lot of Lucozade Sport, the orange one, and then it went to fizzy, and I didn't realise I had caffeine in it, and then I realised like, oh, I need to be careful because there's caffeine in it. Because obviously it's not gonna like probably be harmful if you drink caffeine every day, but I still wanted to stay within like the 200 limit, just for my own sake really. Finally had my dating scan, but I had to go in for a rescan. So I had that at 11+1, got to see him, get a photo, but I had to go back in for the official one because I wasn't far long enough, because I think of his size. Even though I was 11+1 and you're meant to get it between 11 and 13, they have to be a certain size for them to do like the required measurements and stuff. Done his public announcement. I announced my pregnancy in week 11 because I was an impatient bitch and I just couldn't wait. I just couldn't wait. Starting to feel better physically. Was I though? But I'm still always hungry. But I know I still have my moments. I definitely still have my moments in 11, 12, 13. I never really got better. Like, I'd never realised when I got better at the end of my first trimester. Like, even to now, I don't know what point it was really that I got better. I just stopped having them, I'm gonna throw up feelings. But I'm always eating anyway, so. Baby boot fair, and bought you a couple things. I don't know if I've shown that on there. I've definitely shown it on the other app though. No, did I? I don't know. I might have shown it on here, but I'm not sure. But I did go to Baby Boot Fair and that was the first time I bought anything. I didn't buy anything the whole first trimester. Didn't want to, wasn't gonna do it personally because of how anxious I was about things going wrong. But the 13-week one was the one that really put it into like, okay, I can breathe. And then now I've had my anatomy scan, I'm fine. My anxiety about him is pretty much gone at this point. Could things go wrong? Yeah, but I'm not thinking about that. All neutrals because boy clothes are ugly. They are. I just want you to dress fashionably. True. Very weird, vivid and long dreams. I had some weird dreams. One night of insomnia. Yeah, I think I had one night where I didn't sleep till about 5 or 6. That's rough. Week 12, so I'm gonna go up to week 13 probably, because that's classed as like the last week. Like 13, some people class 13, some people even class 14 as like the second. It's all a bit here, there and everywhere. Lucozade Orange Fizzy, still that. End of first trimester. Starting to show a little. Barely, but like, you know when to me I was showing, but like to everyone else, no one would know. Unless you knew I was pregnant, you wouldn't have guessed it. Horrible pain in my right hip. Oh my God, my hip pain. Hip pain has also been a recurring problem. my hips take turns to just when they want to play out, my hips, my pelvis, my back, anything in my body just starts hurting. But that's been awful since the end of my first trimester. That's when that started. Struggling to get about. There was a point at 12 weeks where I struggled walking. It was horrible. Feeling ill hasn't gone away. See, I knew it hadn't gone away. I thought I was out of the woods, but not just yet. Yeah, I definitely remember, like, I just never got out of it. I don't know what happened, but obviously, like I said, now I'm still at a point where I don't feel myself still. So there's not really been a point where I felt like, this is the week where I'm better. That's not happened. Not to put a downer on anyone, but that's not happened for me. Hopefully in the next few weeks it'll calm down. Hopefully, because I was 12 weeks and everyone tells you at 12 weeks you start feeling better. I was like, what is going on? Because I wanted it to be better. Right. Craving tomatoes. I had an obsession with tomatoes. I bought so many tomatoes, had so many tomatoes. Probably wasn't even healthy for me at that point because I had so many. Had my dating scan, rescan, and then she changed my, this is when my due date got changed again. So that got changed. Growing really well, nothing wrong, everything perfect. That's when I found out that I have an anterior placenta. But that hasn't stopped me. I'll go into that in my second trimester video, but yep. Yeah, the beginning of the second trimester fucked me over bad. But that's it, I'm gonna go as far as that because I think 13 weeks is like the complete cut off to the first trimester. After that, you are well and truly into your second. So yeah, that's really hard to remember. I should have probably filmed this a couple months ago, but nonetheless, I'm glad I'm out of that. It's funny looking back now because when you're in it, when you're in the thick of it, it's horrid, but once you're out of it, it's like, wow. And like I said, I'm not completely myself by any means, and I don't even know if I will feel myself when I get out of it because hormones stay in your body and your body changes after pregnancy. You're never the same. You're never completely the same after a baby, so who knows? But all I do know is that things have gone better in some ways. In some ways they've gone worse because my back is in agony right now. Overall, I'm really grateful, obviously, for this experience. I'm very grateful for having my baby to look forward to in the next few months. Exciting. And obviously, when I do reach the third trimester, which isn't long, I will make sure to do a second trimester video. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all soon, hopefully next week. I've got a holiday coming up, so look out. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy it, and I will see you all next week.